My best friend is getting married, and she's about to follow the local custom of inserting silver needles into her wedding dress. The more needles, the more it symbolizes happiness and fulfillment. I was just about to step forward to stop her when a barrage of bullet comments floated before my eyes. I'm so sick of the malicious female supporting character. Stopping the needle insertion is just a deliberate attempt to keep the female lead from being happy. How dare you even try to ruin the female lead's happy marriage? Just wait. Supporting female character. When the female lead runs away from the wedding, you'll have to bear all the male lead's anger. It dawned on me, I was the legendary malicious supporting female character. Red silk, double happiness characters, and the cloying scent of cheap cosmetics filled the room. I entered the wedding chamber, where my best friend Lin Weiwei was sitting on the bed, holding the custom-made dragon and phoenix gown she and Lu Jiyu had saved up for months to afford. From a distance, the gown looked the part, but up close, it was full of flaws. The synthetic fabric reflected a cheap sheen, the gold thread embroidered a dragon that resembled an earthworm and a phoenix that looked like a plucked chicken. The stitches were so coarse you could plant rice in them, and the mandarin ducks were cross-eyed. Seeing it was me who entered, Lin Weiwei's face, which had been clouded with worry, instantly lit up with joy. Shen Yao, come here quickly, let me tell you. There's a custom in a Yu's hometown that involves sticking needles into the wedding dress. The more needles you stick, the more blessings you'll have. But don't you think that might be really painful? I thought to myself, what kind of absurd custom is this? Why not stick needles into the groom's wedding dress instead? Just as I was about to speak up and dissuade them, a barrage of comments floated before my eyes. I'm so sick of the malicious female supporting character. Stopping the acupuncture must be intentional, not wanting the female lead to be happy. How dare you even try to ruin the female lead's happy marriage? Just you wait, female supporting character. When the female lead runs away from the wedding, all the male lead's anger will fall on you. Once you're sold to the black market to have your kidneys harvested, ending up with your family destroyed and yourself dead, you'll finally learn your lesson. I held my breath. Vicious female supporting character, kidney removal, me. My gaze refocused, and I saw the needle tip in Lin Weiwei's hand was only an inch away from that cheap dragon and phoenix wedding dress. I hesitantly spoke up to test the waters. It's fine, Weiwei. After all, this is a custom from Lu Jiyu's hometown, and people in the past have gone through it this way too. I never expected Lin Weiwei's expression to change right in front of me, glaring at me fiercely, her small mouth pouting as she began to accuse me. Shen Yao, you've worked in the big city for a few years. How come you've become even more feudal? I looked at Lin Weiwei's unfriendly expression and then glanced at the rapidly scrolling bullet comments. Why isn't the supporting female character stopping the female lead from sticking needles into the wedding dress? How disgusting. The female supporting character has already gone to work in a big city, yet she's still conforming to these backward wedding customs in this small place. Still, the female lead has a critical mind. Even while working in a screw factory in the county town, she never stops thinking and knows how to resist. Who cares? Maybe once the female lead's wedding dress is sewn with needles, she won't be able to escape the marriage. Then we could even start a male second lead solo if line, the honest, hard-working male second lead and the soft, sweet female lead. This is the rough and tumble romance I want to read. I twitched the corner of my mouth. So, if I don't let her do it, I'm ruining happiness. But if she doesn't want to do it, she's just being brave enough to criticize. Double standards. But now, I've sorted out my thoughts. Lin Weiwei is the female lead of a novel, and I'm the villainess. The male lead is unknown, and the second male lead is Lu Jiyu, the one I'm supposed to marry this time. Shen Yao, I'm talking to you, and you're actually spacing out. Lin Weiwei's sharp voice echoed in my ears. I snapped back to reality, pondering Lin Weiwei's words just now. Wow, could this be the legendary subtle cry for help? Weiwei, I was just spacing out thinking about. I don't care what you were thinking, Shen Yao. Don't you think it would hurt to wear a wedding dress with needles stuck in it? Probably not. Weiwei, don't worry. Think about it. This is a local custom. Surely others have worn it before, and nothing happened, right? But, oh, Weiwei, there's no but about it. Don't you want your marriage with Lu Jiyu to be happy and fulfilling? If it were me, hearing about such a custom for the sake of a happy future, I'd be willing to do it. Not just 99 times. But 999 times. Interrupt me while I'm speaking. I'll interrupt you too. Want a happy marriage, do you? I'll stick enough needles in your wedding dress. At the mention of Lu Jiyu, Lin Weiwei's originally twisted face flushed with a faint blush. She shot me a sidelong glance, looking down on me with an air of superiority. like a proud rooster crowing to announce the time. Seeing her like this, I understood in my heart that she would definitely stick 1,000 silver needles into that wedding dress. After all, that's just how Lin Weiwei is. Whatever she does, she has to be a little better, a little stronger, a little more than me. After calming Lin Weiwei down, I was about to go out to carefully think about my next move when I saw the barrage scrolling like a spasm. High energy ahead, high energy ahead, high energy ahead. The male lead is here, everyone make way. The male and female leads, after 3 years apart, never expected to meet again at the wedding of the female lead's best friend. It's too heartbreaking. I'm so into it, I'm so into it. The male lead just walked in, stared at the female lead for 5 seconds, then turned to look at the villainess. A second before entering, my heart recognized you before I did, and it started beating faster for you. This is love. The villainess and the male lead are just putting on a show. They're merely the bridge to their love. I can't take it anymore, just thinking about how the male lead later starts a company to give the female lead a good life. I find him so charming. The person above. This is the chemical reaction that happens when the male lead meets the female lead again. You see, when he's with the female supporting character, he just follows the routine. The female lead is still too charming. I look at the colorful, dazzling, and varied barrage comments of all sizes before my eyes. Silently lighting a candle for myself, my boyfriend of 3 years, Lin Yujin, is the male lead in this runaway bride story. He and the female lead had met at some point long ago, but they later separated and never saw each other again. According to what the bullet comment said, in the next few days, the two will rekindle their old flame, mend their broken relationship, and then, with passion burning like a raging fire, they will have a wild and unrestrained encounter on Lin Weiwei and Lu Zhiyu's wedding bed before running away. Subsequently, the male lead Lu Zhiyu, unable to bear the fact that the female lead has firmly placed a green hat on his head, resolutely gives up the precious opportunity to work as a laborer on a construction site. He also chooses to leave his hometown, depart from the small county town, and seek development in the big city. Afterward, he builds his own business empire with one hand while tracking down the whereabouts of the female lead with the other. At a cocktail party, the male lead Lu Zhiyu will block the path of the isolated female lead, Lin Weiwei, trapping the female lead with his long legs that rival a compass. The two had a thrilling one-night stand. Lu Zhiyu and the male lead Lin Yujin reached an agreement, and in the end, the three of them lived a happy and harmonious life together. Are you asking me, the unlucky one? The legendary malicious female supporting character. First, I was knocked out by Lin Yujin and sold on the black market, where my kidney was removed. I struggled on for a few years, only to be accused by the passing female lead, who said someone like me, who ruined her happiness, didn't deserve to live. In the end, I was beaten to death by hired thugs. It's just because I didn't let Lin Weiwei stick needles into the wedding dress, which gave the other party a chance to escape. Go to hell, clearly. I also have a green hat on my head, so why not say I founded a business empire? As my thoughts returned, I looked at the two people still standing there, gazing affectionately at each other, and coughed lightly. Lin Yujin was the first to cast an impatient glance at me, as if I had interrupted his silent reunion with Lin Weiwei. Bro, we haven't even broken up yet, and you're already this eager. Yujin, how did you find me here? Didn't I ask the supervisor for leave? Under Lin Weiwei's piercing gaze, I mustered the courage to ask, how can the face of the malicious female supporting character be so big? The male lead running into her here is just a coincidence. Our male lead accurately finding this particular house among so many old, dilapidated ones is simply the guidance of love. Yes, starting from 1 month before the female lead's wedding, his heart began to ache, and he actively sought out the source of the pain himself. Look, now that they've met, the male lead is no longer in pain. What is this? This is love. Supporting female characters, please stop saying things that make the delicate and soft female lead overthink. Our female lead is already on the verge of tears. Looking at the frenzied barrage of comments before me, I couldn't help but get goosebumps. These comments are like a cult. However, Lin Weiwei might actually be about to cry. Thinking this in my heart, I secretly glanced at Lin Weiwei. Well, I'm really about to cry. If I can't afford to provoke, can't I afford to avoid? I'm getting out of here right now. Vivi, Yujin, I just remembered there are some things about the wedding decorations outside that I need to confirm. I'll go check on them first. Before either of them could utter a word, I dashed off with the wind at my feet. After all, they were probably eager to catch up and share some tender moments, with no time to spare for anyone else. Just as I reached the courtyard in front of the cottage, I ran headlong into Lu Jiyu, who was overjoyed to see Lin Weiwei. Why is everyone targeting the villainess for elimination? The barrage of comments began to flood in real time. Damn, why is the male lead showing up now? What should I do? The female lead and the male lead are already rolling around inside. It's all the male lead's fault for not being able to control himself. Oh well, the female lead is just too delicate and alluring. Suddenly feeling so excited, if the male lead goes in, wouldn't it be a man on top of a man, living the happy ending life ahead of time? Hey, the one in front, that won't work. I see the unreasonable mother of the male lead is on her way. What should we do now? Looking at the barrage of comments full of countless flaws, I no longer have the energy to complain. These two are way too fast. They met for 3 minutes, made a decision in 3 seconds, and spent 3 hours in bed. Right now, the question is how to deal with Lu Jiyu. Could it be that I really have to let him join in on the harmony? Shen Yao, weren't you supposed to be inside, keeping Weiwei company and chatting to pass the time? Why did you come out? I looked at Lu Jiyu standing before me. Isn't it because of your family's old custom? They say they need to sew needles into the wedding dress. Weiwei has delicate skin, even the slightest scratch would make her cry. How could Weiwei possibly endure such hardship? But Weiwei also understands that this is a tradition of your wedding, and she wants your future life to go smoothly. Isn't that why she's struggling inside? I came out to give her a better space to think things through on her own. I looked at Lu Jiyu, putting on a face of concern for my best friend, pretending to worry about her, while silently praying that Lu Jiyu's mother would hurry up and arrive. Her ability to cause damage is no joke. You are Weiwei's future husband. So why don't you wait outside with me and let Weiwei think it over on her own? After all, she loves you so much, I continued, appealing to his emotions and reasoning with him. All right, then I'll wait here for Weiwei to think it over. I looked at Lu Jiyu and nodded firmly. Time passed bit by bit, and after waiting for an hour, Lu Jiyu couldn't hold on any longer. Since Weiwei doesn't want to get the injection, then we won't do it. Where there's a will, there's a way. I believe that even without injecting the wedding dress, Weiwei and I can live a good life. I'll go in and talk to Weiwei right now. As soon as the words were spoken, they were refuted by Lu Jiyu's mother, Feng Sanjiao, who had just arrived. No way, there's no reason not to stick needles in the wedding dress. This is a rule set by the older generation. Jiyu, your wife hasn't even crossed the threshold yet, and you're already siding with outsiders. Lu Jiyu's father died early, and over the years, Feng Sanjiao raised him through thick and thin, from diapers to adulthood. He had never once defied his mother. This time was no exception. Mom, what are you about? You go in with your mother right now and tell your dear wife that she must get the injection. All right. I was about to say more when I saw the bullet comments mention that the two had finished. So I didn't try to stop them. Pushing open the door, an even stronger wave of cheap perfume scent hit me. I look around, unable to find Lin Yujin, and wonder where he has gone. The male lead loves the female lead so much that, to avoid the second male lead and the others, he actually climbed through the window into the pigsty in the backyard. True love is like this. I really want to laugh. The corner of my mouth twitched involuntarily. Inside the room, Lin Weiwei had clearly heard Feng Sanjiao's loud voice. She opened her mouth, her voice somewhat hoarse. Mom, how could I not get the acupuncture? I was just thinking about how many needles I should get. Now I've figured it out. I want 1,000 needles, symbolizing that my married life with Jiyu will be even more perfect than the eternal promise of 999. As soon as she finished speaking, she deliberately shot me a sidelong glance, looking as if she held all the cards. As though beating me was the most important thing in the world, Lu Jiyu was instantly struck in his weak spot, his eyes brimming with emotion as he grasped Lin Weiwei's hand, his tone fervent. Weiwei, you're too good to me. I will never let you down in this lifetime. Feng Sanjiao was so delighted he couldn't stop grinning, slapping his thigh and praising her repeatedly. This is truly a good daughter-in-law of our Lu family. Tomorrow afternoon, Mother will personally give you the acupuncture treatment, not a single needle less. Once it's done, blessings will envelop you from head to toe. May the wedding ceremony go smoothly, and may you enter the bridal chamber without a hitch. Mother is looking forward to holding a chubby grandson. With that, she turned around energetically and headed straight for the kitchen. Left in the room were Lu Jiyu, his face glowing with delight, and Lin Weiwei, whose expression instantly fell. Her eyes filled with hidden panic. I was somewhat surprised to find that the wedding date mentioned in the bullet comments had been moved up by a day. Looking at the two of them, I smiled and dealt with the situation briefly before hailing a taxi back to the hotel in town. Back at the hotel, I wasted no time packing my luggage. Fortunately, I hadn't planned on staying long this time, so I only brought a 20-inch suitcase, which would make it easier to make a quick getaway if needed, and so I spent a restless night clutching my suitcase. As soon as the sky began to lighten, the door was pounded with such force that I could feel the vibrations through the wood. I opened the door and saw Lin Yujin, who just wouldn't go away. Somehow, he had managed to wash off the pig manure from his body. "Your best friend Wei Wei is getting married today, on such an important day. You didn't even get up early to comfort her." He bombarded me with a barrage of questions. I wanted to curse. I really wanted to curse, but now, I need to calm his emotions. "What are you talking about? I was so worried about Wei Wei last night that I couldn't sleep. Look, I've even packed my luggage just to make it easier to go over." Lin Yujin glanced at me, sending a chill down my spine. I couldn't tell whether he believed me or not, but he still held onto my hand. "Yujin, what's wrong? What does my best friend have to do with you? I've called a car and need to head over soon." Seeming to realize his own impropriety, he finally lowered his hand, snorted coldly, turned, and walked away, leaving behind a remark, "My car will follow right behind yours." Sitting in the taxi, I kept editing and sending distress messages to my friends, colleagues, and the police. I also reminded 3 friends that I would send them a message every hour. If I didn't send one on time, it meant something had happened to me, and they should call the police to come find me here. After doing all this, I still wasn't at ease, so I transferred another 1,000 to the driver, telling him not to leave and to call a few more cars over, all with drivers as big and tall as him. With the money in hand, the driver didn't ask any more questions. When we arrived at the wedding venue, I got out of the car and, as a precaution, clipped the camera to my chest and started the live recording. Lin Yujin also parked his car and followed me sneakily from behind, in the Liu family's courtyard. Lanterns and colorful decorations were hung, creating a festive and joyous atmosphere. Inside the room, Feng Sanjiao was continuously inserting needles into Lin Weiwei, who was already dressed in her wedding attire. "My daughter-in-law, you must endure this. These are all blessings passed down from our ancestors." A full 1,000 needles. When the first needle pierced through, Lin Weiwei shuddered. By the 100th needle, beads of sweat began to form on her forehead. By the 300th needle, a faint red hue seeped into the wedding dress. Throughout the process, Lin Weiwei's body trembled incessantly, with 100 needles inevitably piercing her by mistake. The midday sun shone through the window lattice, so bright it was dazzling. Standing in the corner, I felt a chill creeping up from the soles of my feet. Feng Sanjiao's technique was rough throughout, inserting the needles as ruthlessly as nailing wooden planks, with a forceful push of the silver needle between his fingertips. He paid no heed even if it went off course, focusing only on counting to 1,000. Finally, the 1,000th needle was set. Lin Weiwei stood in place, her entire body trembling slightly. Even the slightest movement would disturb the hundreds of needles beneath her skin, bringing a dense, stinging pain. "All right, full of blessings." Feng Sanjiao patted her hands with satisfaction, grabbed Lin Weiwei's arm, and pulled her outside, to the bridal chamber, for the wedding ceremony. Feng Sanjiao wore a satisfied smile on her face, while Lin Weiwei's face was deathly pale. She opened her mouth, her gaze fixed intently on me, her lips trembling, opening and closing, but even the slightest tremble in her body brought a continuous, dense pain. I understood what she left unspoken. She wanted to say, "Why wasn't it me?" Feng Sanjiao had no sympathy for the fairer sex. She looked at her handiwork with satisfaction, then dragged Lin Weiwei straight out the door. From this room to the bridal chamber, it was only 100 meters of bluestone path, yet Lin Weiwei trembled with every step, her footing so unsteady that she seemed on the verge of collapsing at any moment. On the already vibrant red wedding dress, one after another, wilted blood-red flowers seeped through. The female lead looked so pitiful and endearing like this, tears welling up, so pure and alluring. Are you all crazy? Doesn't anyone think the female lead is in a miserable situation? Occasionally, a few normal comments would scroll by, but they were instantly drowned out by mindless praise for the female lead, not even causing a ripple. Just then, a sudden figure rushed out from the crowd. Lin Yujin. He was dressed in a suit that seemed out of place in the countryside. Rushing toward Lin Weiwei in quick strides, extending his hand with deep affection. "Weiwei, you don't love that man at all. Come with me, I can give you happiness." The entire scene erupted in an uproar, with the onlookers whispering among themselves. Someone went to notify Lu Jiu, while I quietly slipped into a corner, ready to make my escape at any moment. Lin Weiwei froze, her bridal veil trembling violently. Thousands of silver needles were embedded between her flesh and the synthetic fabric, each breath feeling like a slow, torturous death. She didn't even have the strength to shake her head, let alone respond. Any attempt to speak would only result in a cry of pain. Lin Yujin, however, misunderstood her silence. His fingertips pressed directly against her wrist, and with that single touch, it felt as though he had tugged at the entire web of needles covering her body. Suddenly, Lin Weiwei let out a cry of agony. The silver needles twisted and pierced beneath her skin, beads of blood seeping from the needle ends and spreading into even more gruesome patterns on the crimson wedding dress. She used all her strength to break free from Lin Yujin's hand, and this scene fell into the eyes of Lu Jiyu, who had just rushed over. Lin Yujin was stunned, not yet understanding why Lin Weiwei wouldn't touch him. When a punch landed squarely on his face, Lu Jiyu had arrived. This man, who had been saving up for his wedding by working on construction sites, had bloodshot eyes as he threw punch after punch at Lin Yujin. How dare you lay a finger on my wife? Lu Jiyu and Lin Yujin quickly became entangled. The character for double happiness trampled into a mess. The wedding banquet's fruits, wine, and dishes shattered all over the floor, the joyous occasion completely descending into a living hell. Feng Sanjiao frantically rushed forward to pull them apart, then turned and viciously pinched and twisted Lin Weiwei, her nails digging into the other woman's flesh. Family misfortune, marrying a jinx like you who flirts around, bringing in other men on the wedding day. With that twist and pull, the silver needle plunged deeper into the flesh. Lin Weiwei let out a dying whimper, unable to hold on any longer, and collapsed straight onto the bluestone slab. The bridal veil slipped off. Her empty eyes stared fixedly at me, filled with resentment and unwillingness, all trapped in her throat, unable to utter a single word. I pressed the button to end the live stream. The video has been uploaded to the cloud simultaneously, with the title, On the Scene Look at Wedding Customs. Bride breaks down in the street after being pricked 1,000 times. Then I turned around, quietly stepped out of the crowd, and kept my achievements and reputation to myself. Before getting in the car, I glanced back one last time. The farce continues, escalating further. On the bluestone path, Lin Weiwei sits slumped, her wedding dress as red as blood. Lin Yujin and Lu Jiyu are still fighting. Feng Sanjiao is cursing in the street, and the villagers are taking pictures. A dog-eat-dog world. What a great show. Meanwhile, my phone vibrated, and a push notification had already appeared. Shocking. Traditional wedding customs or physical harm. Bride suspected of being abused at wedding venue in a certain area. On the way. The bullet comments on the screen were scrolling in real time. How did this happen? Why are the male lead and the second male lead fighting each other? Can the evil mother-in-law stop hitting the female lead? She's already bleeding. What? Why didn't the escape from the wedding succeed? What happens after that? The second male lead was supposed to be inspired by the failed wedding escape, catch the computer industry boom, and start his own company. Now everything's messed up. Forget about the second male lead. The male lead is about to be beaten to death. How can an office worker fight against a construction worker? Why isn't the female lead helping? The heroine can't even protect herself, yet she's still worrying about the male lead. Could this turn into a life-or-death situation? No, I saw some villagers calling the police, so it probably won't come to that. Now the plot has completely gone off the rails, and I was pretending not to see anything. But in my heart, I noted the moments when the bullet comments mentioned the male lead and the second male lead starting from scratch and soaring to success. This overwhelming wealth has finally come to me. Shinyao. The car slowly drove away from the country road, bumping along the way, and I finally boarded the plane and returned home. No, Lin Yujin knows where I live and where I work. Just as I was pondering how to get rid of this trouble, a comment caught my attention. The female lead was hospitalized due to an infection, while the male lead and the second male lead were to be detained for a month for causing trouble and disrupting the wedding. Two troublemakers facing legal consequences, one lying in the hospital. What fantastic news. Now, I can finally take a breath and have a good rest. Lying on the familiar bed at home, I suddenly shed a tear. I'm not made of iron. It's normal to cry. I've been in a relationship with Lin Yujin for 3 years, and damn it, he's like a man of steel, cold-hearted and unfeeling. For 3 years, I saved up to buy him gifts, took detours after overtime to bring him late-night snacks, and stayed up all night with him when he was sick. I played both the role of a father and a mother, but in the end, when he met Lin Weiwei, he acted like a dog seeing poop. What a pathetic display of fawning. And then there's Lin Weiwei. We grew up together, and she always called me her best friend. But it couldn't withstand her ridiculous sense of competitiveness. I couldn't persuade her, nor could I go along with her. If I tried to stop her, I'd be the villain. If I went along, I'd be labeled as feudal and backward. She secretly begged me to give her a way out, yet in the same breath, she shifted all the blame onto me. Even the pain of being pricked with needles was blamed on me for going along with her words. It seems she's had the final say in everything, good or bad. While I'm left to shoulder all the blame, Lu Jiyu and his mother, Feng Sanjiao, treat outdated customs as unbreakable rules and regard harmful traditions as sacred decrees, calling the act of pricking people with needles a blessing. The barrage of comments is even more insane, indiscriminately praising the female lead as delicate and innocent, while labeling all my self-defense as malicious scheming. So, I, the supporting female character, am supposed to bear all the blame. Just so they can live in peace and happiness, right? Why should I? Just because I'm a predetermined cannon fodder, I deserve to be betrayed by my boyfriend, stabbed in the back by my best friend, framed by others, deserve to have my kidneys harvested, be beaten to death, and end up with my family destroyed and not even a tombstone to my name. I'm scared too, afraid of those 1,000 needles piercing my own body. I'm an ordinary person, and I'm afraid of death, terrified to the core. I forced myself to stay calm and set up every trap, recording, live streaming, finding backup, leaving a way out, every second fearing that one wrong move would lead to irreversible ruin. No one asked if I was afraid, and no one cared if I was tired. Everyone revolved around the female lead, and everyone treated my life as a stepping stone. Tears slid down the corners of my eyes, burning with pain. It wasn't that I couldn't bear to part with the feelings I had wasted on the undeserving, nor was it that I resented myself for becoming a hedgehog. It was finally a breath of relief from that damned plot, an escape from that damned fate. With the belated surge of panic and the feeling of having survived a disaster, I really escaped. I really don't have to die anymore. The next morning, the sunlight was blinding. I rubbed my eyes. And the barrage of comments is already exploding before me. What are people even watching these days? The female lead ends up in the hospital. The male lead is a legal disaster. How can a story like this even make the charts? I can't take it anymore. The female lead is in the ICU. The male lead is in jail. The second male lead's mom gets sentenced. Talk about a family combo meal, to the person above. It's all because of the female antagonist stirring up trouble, at this point in the timeline. The female lead and the male lead should have successfully eloped, sweet and happy on their runaway journey. Nonsense, female lead. Do you really think I didn't watch the previous plot? Isn't this just what she deserves? If it weren't for our supporting female character cutting her losses in time and seeing Lin Weiwei for who she really is, she would probably be dead by now. No, why does the supporting female character deserve a seat at the table? She was supposed to die anyway. She should just obediently die to make way for the male and female leads. What? The lives of the male and female leads are lives, but the lives of female supporting characters aren't. If the second male lead can sit at the table to eat, why can't the female supporting character? We, the female supporting characters, not only want to sit at the table to eat, but we also want to eat our fill, sit at the main table, eat our fill. I froze for 2 seconds, then suddenly laughed. In the barrage, it seemed there were finally living, thinking people. Lowering my gaze, I thought for a moment. I now have a general idea of this book's plot, but I know nothing about the entrepreneurial process of the male lead and second male lead. I only know a few key points. I take a deep breath and softly say to the air, I can see you all. Ever since Lin Weiwei asked if I was in pain, your discussions have been floating right before my eyes. The barrage instantly freezes. Then it explodes like a bomb. Oh my god, help, it's haunted. The supporting female character, the supporting female character, she's talking to us. Mom, come quick. The supporting female character is really at the table. I told you, if you live long enough, you'll see everything. Shen Yao, upon seeing this message, please say you want to sit at the table to eat. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Then, word by word, I said clearly, I, Shen Yao, not only want to sit at the table to eat, but I also want to sit at the head table, eat well, eat heartily. The barrage fell silent for a moment, then began to scroll frantically. Oh my god, this is the real high-energy moment ahead. Shen Yao, you took the initiative to tell us you can see me. Is there something you want to ask? Sure enough, staying away from the male and female leads. The majority of people in the bullet comments are normal and quick-witted. Yes, I want to know. In the original plot, how did Lin Yujin and Lu Jiu later make their fortunes? What opportunities did they seize? I'm safe for now, but there's no guarantee they won't make a comeback or come after me again. I don't want to run anymore. I want to stand taller than them, not just for self-preservation. I paused, my voice growing even more resolute. I not only want to protect myself, but I also want to help those sisters who have been deeply harmed by bad customs, to lend them a hand. They should not be cannon fodder in any story. Why should I tell you just because you want something? Ugh, the vicious supporting female character, so shameless, the one in front. I've muted you. If you attack the character again, you'll be permanently blocked. Xinyao, I'll tell you what you want to know. A bullet comment drifted steadily across the screen, with a distinct background color. I'll keep watching you until you truly accomplish what you want to do. I support you. I'll be with you throughout your entrepreneurial journey. Will always be with you. More similar bullet comments follow. It's ironic to say, but Lin Yujin's first pot of gold was actually given by you. My heart suddenly skipped a beat. Do you remember the code you recently wrote? He made a lot of money by selling that source code and got his first startup capital. He thus established his own business empire. Sitting in the morning light, I suddenly felt both utterly absurd and incredibly clear-headed. It turned out that the fate that had been choking me was, in the end, just a few lines of code I had carelessly written, and now, the code is in my hands, and so is the future. I look at the encouraging and expectant bullet comments before me and softly say, alright, this time, I'll do it myself. Outside the window, the sky is as clear and blue as if it were freshly washed. I am savoring the rest of my life. Reclaimed from the brink of despair, my war has only just begun. 3 years later, standing under the spotlight at the celebration banquet, I took the trophy engraved with Social Impact Entrepreneur of the Year, and the applause from the audience thundered on, lasting for a long time. The camera pans, and I see several young girls sitting in the third row, who have made a special trip from the mountain village. They are dressed in clean professional attire, sitting upright, with a sparkle in their eyes. A year ago, they were still parties to bride price disputes, trapped in their hometowns waiting for arranged marriages. Now, they are company employees, with jobs, savings, and the confidence to say no. Back then, they had nothing, not even the hope of survival. Now, they shine brilliantly, so dazzling. Standing here, I think of many people. I held the microphone, my voice echoing through the venue via the speakers, thinking of our first legal aid lawyer, who went 72 hours without sleep just to help a sister secure custody of her child, thinking of those late-night calls for help, the sobbing on the other end of the line. The audience fell silent. Someone once asked me, Xinyao, why do you do all this? I said, because I once was just like them, and it was only when I truly started running that I realized, where to run is far more difficult than where to escape from, and I, Xinyao, decided from that moment on that I would provide them with a place to call home. The camera timely pans to the large screen behind me, where the project achievements are displayed in a rolling slideshow. Behind every number is a life that is either struggling or getting back up. Women have gained vocational skills training. I have given them the means to earn a living. I looked at the audience below and said loudly, it's not about breaking anyone, but about breaking down those invisible walls, prejudices, bad habits, the notion that girls should be a certain way, and the curse that you can only live like this. The applause erupted once more, even more fervent and prolonged than before. On the terrace outside the banquet hall, the evening breeze was cool, and the night air felt as refreshing as water. At that very moment, familiar translucent text began to appear before my eyes. I could sense that they were gentle, even carrying a hint of a smile. Yao Jia, you're amazing. I'm crying watching this. Our supporting female character is truly great. You really did it. The corners of my mouth unconsciously curved upward. Over the years, these bullet comments have been like a group of invisible friends, offering reminders during my toughest times and giving me a push when I hesitated. But suddenly, a few comments with a completely different tone abruptly popped up, their words filled with confusion. Hey, what's going on? The description said it was a gentle, delicate female lead and a domineering male lead. Right, has the female lead transformed into a career powerhouse? What about the character setting? Hey, you there. Has your village just gotten internet? Standing before you is Xinyao, a young social entrepreneur who holds a billion-dollar company and is a leader in the industry. Xinyao, isn't she the villainess in this book? The following barrage began to get chaotic, as if viewers from different timelines had collided. Wow, what's going on? Why is the female lead being beaten black and blue by the second male lead? Did she fail to escape the marriage as per the plot, the one above? After the female lead was discharged from the ICU, the second male lead was also released from prison, and she still didn't manage to escape the marriage successfully. After the two of them did that, the second male lead discovered that the female lead was not a virgin. He hit her for the first time, only to find out she was pregnant less than a month later. At first, the second male lead was overjoyed, but after calculating the timing, he realized the child wasn't his. It was the male lead's, of course. The male lead was thrilled and insisted that the female lead divorce the second male lead, but the second male lead refused. Then the three of them began a life of constant conflict. You bother me, I bother you, you hit me, I hit you. By the way, the child was also lost in the argument. A few months later, the male lead no longer wanted to care for the female lead either, but with a criminal record, no company would hire him, and he ended up living on the streets, in the end. He died of illness in some unknown corner, and now the second male lead is a domestic abuser. The bullet comments kept scrolling, like a fast-forwarded, grainy black and white silent film, playing out the remnants of the original plot that had long since ceased to have anything to do with me. I stared at the barrage of comments in my eyes, momentarily stunned. Previously, since the barrage saw that I didn't care about the news of the male and female leads. They had never mentioned their fates to me, and I hadn't specifically looked for it either. I never expected it would come to such a situation, but they have indeed long since left my story. I took a sip of the sweet wine in my glass and turned to leave, yet the barrage of comments changed again, blurring before my eyes. Sister Yao, we have to go. This story has been rewritten by you, and we witness you returning to your original intention. Goodbye, Shen Yao. From now on, there will be no bullet comments, no script, and no label of a supporting female character. You are just you, only you. The handwriting gradually turned transparent, like dewdrops under the morning sun, evaporating bit by bit into the air. I stood in place, gazing into the empty night before me, and suddenly spoke softly, to the void and to my past self. Thank you for the help you've given me, and for being willing to believe in me. And thank you to the person I was at the beginning, the one who, even when terrified, gritted their teeth and crawled step by step out of a predetermined fate. I suddenly remembered a long time ago, someone in the bullet comments said, why should a supporting female character get to sit at the table? Now I can answer, because I didn't bow my head in desperate situations, because I not only climbed out myself but also reached out to pull up those behind me. On what grounds? On the grounds that I am worthy, on the grounds that I am myself. That is enough. Even if I am an ordinary person who fears death, not kind enough, not perfect enough, and not selfless enough, I still have the right to be the sole protagonist of my own life. I turned around, wearing the most carefree smile, and walked firmly into the light that belongs to me. Behind me, the night was gentle. Ahead, the long road was brilliant. My war is over, and my story is only just beginning. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. During the evacuation, my boyfriend's childhood sweetheart, Lin Wei, complained that her hair was greasy and secretly left the group to wash and style it. At the moment the transport vehicle was about to depart, my boyfriend stopped the car, insisting on waiting for his childhood sweetheart. This was the last flight for the national evacuation. If missed, everyone could be buried in a foreign land. Just before the transport vehicle was set to leave, I signaled my colleague to knock out my boyfriend and tie him up in the vehicle. In the end, we made it onto the last evacuation flight. However, the childhood sweetheart arrived 10 minutes late and was blown to pieces by a bomb. When I heard the news of my childhood friend's death, my boyfriend showed no emotion, saying it was the consequence of her own actions. After returning to the country, we smoothly walked towards the wedding hall, and he was also considerate and caring towards me. I thought he had let go, but on the day I was due to give birth, he locked me in the house and wouldn't let me go to the hospital. He held the door firmly shut, looking at me with a gaze full of madness. It's all your selfishness that caused Wei Wei to die tragically in a foreign land. She died so tragically, how can you live happily? In the end, he dragged me until I bled heavily, and the child in my womb suffocated to death from lack of oxygen. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day of the evacuation. This time, I decided not to stop my boyfriend from seeking his own demise. Before taking his last breath, Gu Xingzhou accused me with reddened eyes. It's all because of your selfishness that led to Wei Wei's tragic death. Every night when I close my eyes, Wei Wei's shattered body appears in my mind. Why did she have to die so horribly while you get to live so happily? Since you caused her death, you should go down and apologize to her yourself. Suddenly, the explosion in the distance jolted me awake. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back on the day of the evacuation. The next second, Gu Xingzhou's furious voice rang out. How can you be so selfish? Wei Wei hasn't arrived yet, and you're already thinking of saving yourselves. The pass and passport are in my hands. If you're not afraid of being mistaken for enemy soldiers and shot on the way, go ahead and try. The people traveling with Gu Xingzhou were arguing fiercely. Someone tried to snatch the passport, but Gu Xingzhou, with a ferocious expression, held up a lighter in one hand. If you keep pushing me, I'll burn all the passes and passports, and none of you will be able to leave. Hearing this, everyone turned pale with fear. Without the passes and passports, they wouldn't be able to leave this war-torn country, and their safety would be at risk. Gu Xingzhou, are you out of your mind? If you want to wait for Lin Wei, go ahead and wait by yourself. Why drag everyone along with you? Faced with the accusation, Gu Xingzhou's expression turned terrifyingly dark. He raised the lighter once more, threatening the crowd. Would any of you like to give it a try? Those who had been itching to act were all frozen in place by his gesture. Gu Xingzhou sneered. A bunch of selfish cowards. Wei Wei is not only our compatriot but also our colleague. How could you even think of abandoning her to save yourselves? What a bunch of cowards. Gu Xingzhou was the company's general manager and usually held considerable authority within the company. Before setting off, he said that to make it easier to count everyone, he would collect and keep everyone's passports. Everyone trusted him and handed over their passports, but now he has let everyone down. A close colleague pulled me aside and said, Lin Cheng, please talk to your boyfriend. Everyone is waiting to go home. If we don't leave soon, the last evacuation flight will take off. Cheng, please persuade Mr. Gu. My child is only a month old. He can't lose his father. That's right, Lin Cheng, I beg you, my wife is about to give birth. If I die, what will happen to her and the child? Everyone looked at me with hopeful eyes. Yet I lowered my head and refused, saying, Gu Xingzhou is right, we can't abandon Lin Wei. Since we are colleagues, we should advance and retreat together. Upon hearing my words, my colleagues instantly erupted into an uproar. No one expected me to say such a thing. Lin Cheng, even if Gu Xingzhou is your boyfriend, you can't be so biased in his favor. Exactly. If we missed the last flight because of him, can you take responsibility? The colleagues' comments made Gu Xingzhou feel a bit irritated, and he snapped, Shut up. Lin Cheng said we should wait for Wei Wei together. If you keep talking nonsense, I'll burn the passes and passports, and none of you will be going anywhere. Gu Xingzhou, emboldened by my support, grew even more confident. He provocatively glanced at the other colleagues. You should all learn from Lin Cheng. Don't just think about saving yourselves. What a bunch of selfish cowards. But Gu Xingzhou had no idea. Whether I could catch the last evacuation flight didn't matter to me at all. Because my grandfather is the president of the Chinese Association here, I have plenty of ways to leave. In my previous life, to spare Gu Xingzhou's pride, I chose to leave with him on the government's evacuation flight. In this life, I will make him pay the price, forcing him to stay in this country with the foolish and selfish childhood friend he so desperately clings to. The air raid siren blared like a death knell, sharp and piercing. The transport vehicle driver also kept honking, urging everyone to board and depart. However, the passports were in Gu Xingzhou's hands, and no one moved, forced to wait anxiously in place. Time ticked away, with only 3 hours left before the last evacuation flight took off. If the transfer vehicle doesn't depart soon, everyone will miss the flight. Just then, Lin Wei walked toward us, adjusting her hair with her hand and stepping in her high heels. Brother Xingzhou, I'm here. Lin Wei smiled and threw herself into Gu Xingzhou's arms, not forgetting to give me a provocative glance. Gu Xingzhou affectionately ruffled her hair. He was about to speak when a loud bang echoed from behind. The transport vehicle was blown into the air. A wave of scorching heat rushed toward them. I closed my eyes in despair, never expecting to be blown to pieces so soon after being reborn. But the pain I imagined never came. I opened my eyes to see a man standing in front of me. The scorching flames were blocked behind him. Looking at his tall and imposing figure, my heart raced uncontrollably. After confirming I was safe, he let out a sigh of relief. Thank goodness you're okay. I looked at him in confusion. Go to the nearest shelter, contact me if anything happens. He handed me a satellite phone and hurried away. The once noisy surroundings suddenly fell silent. The driver of the transport vehicle, who had been lively and energetic just moments ago, was now blown to pieces among the group. The timid female colleague had already been frightened into silent tears. Hu Yuan's furious roar snapped me back to reality. He grabbed Gu Xingzhou by the collar, pointed at his nose, and cursed, Damn it, it's all because of you that everyone can't go home, causing Ahmed's tragic death. you beast. Hu Yuan suddenly threw a punch at Gu Xingzhou's face. Seeing this, the others also started cursing at Gu Xingzhou. Gu Xingzhou, are you satisfied now? You've ruined everyone. And that idiot Lin Wei, insisting on getting her hair done at a time like this. Are you planning to die with a new hairstyle? The furious expressions of her colleagues made Lin Wei's face turn deathly pale. She shrank back, hiding behind Gu Xingzhou, her voice trembling with tears. I didn't know there would be a bomb. Some colleagues also looked at me with dissatisfaction. Lin Cheng, we trusted you, which is why we came to work here with you. Today, you must give everyone an explanation. Back then, Gu Xingzhou took the initiative to apply for the transfer. To help him achieve results, I brought my colleagues from the same team along to be transferred here. Now, looking at their disappointed eyes, I was filled with guilt and bowed deeply to everyone. I'm sorry, I will definitely bring everyone home safely. The top priority now is to take shelter in a nearby refuge. Gu Xingzhou touched the bloodstain at the corner of his mouth and sneered, a bunch of cowards. When something happens, all you know is to blame others. What's the use? Just contact the embassy right now and have them come pick us up. Isn't that simple? Gu Xingzhou took out his phone, only to find that there was no signal at all. Seeing that the phone had no signal, the colleagues grew furious, but there was no better option now. Everyone headed toward the nearest shelter, and finally, all arrived safely. Just then, Hu Yuan suddenly cried out in panic. It's over, the last evacuation flight has taken off. Hu Yuan shouted tearfully, we can't go home anymore. A sense of despair spread through the crowd, and before long, stifled sobs could be heard all around. Everyone wants to return home safely, but now the most secure path home is gone. No one knows if they will live to see tomorrow. No one knows if they will return home safely. At that moment, Gu Xingzhou's slightly mocking voice rang out, what are you crying for? Our country is famously protective of its own. Even if the last flight has left, the nation will do everything possible to bring us home. Isn't that what the long way home is all about? Gu Xingzhou took out his phone again, only to find that the already weak signal had now completely disappeared. His face instantly turned deathly pale. On my end, after receiving a clear answer from my grandfather, I finally felt reassured. Everyone, rest assured, I've just contacted my family, and tomorrow a transport vehicle will take us to Ase, where we'll transfer to a flight back home. You've all been on the move all day, so get some good rest first. The colleagues' expressions relaxed. Gu Xingzhou raised an eyebrow and glanced at me, a hint of approval in his eyes. He turned to comfort Lin Wei. See, I told you it would be fine, we'll definitely make it home. He chatted away with Lin Wei, while the other colleagues gritted their teeth in resentment toward him. Hu Yuan pulled me aside and whispered, Lin Cheng, is what you said true? You know, my wife is about to give birth, and I want to go home. By the end, Hu Yuan's eyes were red. I patted his shoulder and comforted him, saying, don't worry, I brought you out, and I will definitely bring you all home safely. It's just that there's a fuel shortage lately. To be safe, the family arranged for a 7-seater transport vehicle to pick us up. The vehicle comes with its own driver, so it can only take 6 people, and there were exactly 7 of us in our group. One person was destined to be left behind. I looked coldly at Gu Xingzhou, just in time to see him sniffing Lin Wei's hair like a creep. Hu Yuan understood instantly. A flicker of reluctance crossed his face, but then he thought, if it weren't for Gu Xingzhou and Lin Wei, everyone would already be on the plane home by now. In the end, Hu Yuan nodded heavily, watching the two of them so close. A cold sneer rose in my heart. I hope you can still be this intimate tomorrow. Upon learning she could return to her homeland, Lin Wei dragged Gu Xingzhou around the shelter. It was as if they were visiting a tourist attraction, after a tiring day. We all prepared to rest after eating our rations. However, Gu Xingzhou stood before me, looking down as he commanded, hand over your food and water. I frowned in confusion. I don't have extra food or water. We left in a hurry this time and didn't have a chance to prepare much food or drinking water. With the current unstable situation, no one knows if the transport vehicle will arrive tomorrow. I try to save as much of this food and water as possible. It might just save my life at a critical moment. Seeing that I didn't respond, Gu Xingzhou grew impatient. Hurry up and bring it. Wei Wei rescued a mother cat and needs food to feed it. Wei Wei is a clean freak and can't sleep without washing her feet. The conditions are tough now, so we'll have to make do with mineral water to wash them. Everyone stared at Gu Xingzhou as if he were an idiot. I gripped my backpack, staring at him intently. Gu Xingzhou, the situation is unclear right now. We can't touch this food and water. Gu Xingzhou, however, brushed it off. The transfer bus will be here tomorrow anyway, what's there to worry about? Besides, how can you be so cruel? How can you bear to let a cat starve to death? How can you bear to let a little girl stay up all night, who Yuan couldn't help but snap back? Are you out of your mind? We can barely take care of ourselves. Who has time to worry about cats and dogs? Lin Wei tugged at Gu Xingzhou's clothes, pouting pitifully. Brother Xingzhou, let it go, it's fine between me and the cat. Seeing Lin Wei on the verge of tears, Gu Xingzhou grabbed my neck and pinned me against the wall, his face twisted with rage. Either die, or hand over the food and water. Other colleagues stepped forward to intervene, but he tightened his grip, and I was nearly choked to death. The colleagues dared not step forward again. At this moment, I recalled the scene from my past life where he brutally murdered me, and my body couldn't help but tremble. In my past life, for Gu Xingzhou, I gave him money and resources, pushing him to the peak of wealth. In return, he brutally murdered me for Lin Wei. I threw my backpack on the ground. Gu Xingzhou handed the food to Lin Wei. Everyone just watched quietly as Lin Wei fed the mother cat bit by bit. Then, I opened the remaining bottles of mineral water one by one to wash my feet. Lin Wei nestled in Gu Xingzhou's embrace, as he whispered in her ear, the two of them looking perfectly content and peaceful. I could no longer suppress the hatred in my heart. Early the next morning, the transport vehicle arrived right on time. Gu Xingzhou, holding Lin Wei's hand, ran at the very front. Before getting on the car, they were stopped by the driver pointing a gun at their foreheads. This is Miss Lin Cheng's transport vehicle. Step aside. Gu Xingzhou's face darkened. While Lin Wei argued with the driver, why won't you let us on the car? The driver glanced at her disdainfully. Because this is a private car reserved by Miss Lin. Gu Xingzhou looked at me in disbelief. Lin Cheng, are you planning to abandon me? Suddenly, a deep and pleasant voice came, and the car door was pushed open. There's no room for both of you in my car. The man walked up to me and, as if performing magic, produced a bouquet of champagne roses still glistening with morning dew. Then, he gave me a flirtatious wink. I was suddenly startled. Him, the man who saved me yesterday, the one who shielded me from the fire. Looking into Zhao Mu's affectionate gaze, my face grew slightly warm. So he is my fiancé. I never expected the marriage partner my grandfather found for me to be so flamboyant and flashy. Gu Xingzhou's face darkened, and Lin Wei couldn't help but question, why won't you let us on the car? Zhao Mu glanced at her disdainfully. Because this is Miss Lin Cheng's private car. Only if Miss Lin Cheng allows you to board do you have the right to get on. Lin Wei stared at me defiantly. I raised an eyebrow and nodded to the people behind me, who quickly got into the car. Gu Xingzhou and Lin Wei tried to take advantage of the chaos to board the car. But Zhao Mu still pointed his pistol at their foreheads and forced them back down. Gu Xingzhou looked at me in disbelief. Lin Cheng, are you planning to abandon me? I replied with a cold expression. The car can only seat 6 people, but there are 2 of you. It won't fit. After a moment of thought, I added, actually, you don't have to take the transfer vehicle. Once we reach Ase, we can help you contact the embassy. The embassy will definitely find a way to send you home. Hearing me say that, Gu Xingzhou's face turned livid with anger. Other colleagues had been grinding their teeth in frustration at him these past 2 days, and now, seeing him at a disadvantage, they all laughed heartily. Facing Zhao Mu, who was armed with a gun, Gu Xingzhou didn't dare utter a single word. He turned his gaze toward Lin Wei. Vivi, look. Before Gu Xingzhou could finish speaking, Lin Wei turned to me with a flattering look. Ching, take me with you. Gu Xingzhou is just a two-faced scumbag. I was only testing his loyalty for you earlier. Gu Xingzhou stared at Lin Wei in disbelief, murmuring, Vivi, how could you abandon me? I missed the last evacuation flight just to wait for you. Lin Wei waved her hand to interrupt him, saying impatiently, who asked you to wait for me? You're just being presumptuous. Get lost. Don't argue with me. I'm going back home. My boyfriend is waiting for me. Gu Xingzhou widened his eyes. Clenching his fists tightly, he never imagined that Lin Wei, the childhood sweetheart he had been longing for, actually had a boyfriend and even called him a scumbag. Seeing Gu Xingzhou standing there in a daze, Lin Wei mercilessly mocked him. Idiot, I told you not to wait for me, yet you insisted on blocking the transport vehicle and not letting anyone leave. I just casually made up a lie. And you went and snatched Lin Cheng's food and water for me. What a fool. Besides, if it weren't for Lin Cheng helping you and making you the general manager, who would even bother to look at you? Just thinking about how poor and pathetic you used to be makes me sick. Lin Wei pinched her nose, her face filled with indescribable disgust. Gu Xingzhou could no longer hold back. grabbing Lin Wei by the neck with both hands, his eyes bloodshot. "Lin Wei, you bitch, if it weren't for you, would I have done so many stupid things?" Gu Xingzhou used all his strength, choking Lin Wei until her face turned red and her eyes rolled back. Lin Wei struggled frantically, but the difference in strength between men and women was too great. She couldn't break free and could only cry out to us for help. Save me." Just as Lin Wei was about to be choked to death, Zhao Mu kicked Gu Xingzhou away. The rescued Lin Wei slumped to the ground, greedily breathing in the fresh air. She looked at her other colleagues with tear-filled eyes, hoping they would speak up for her and take her away, but no one was willing to help her. Hu Yuan even sneered viciously, "You two bitches and that dog deserve each other forever, better lock yourselves together." Gu Xingzhou suddenly knelt down in front of me with a thud. "Qingqing, please don't leave me behind. As long as you take me back to China, I'm willing to marry you and love only you for the rest of my life." Everyone turned to look at me in unison. After all, I used to love Gu Xingzhou to death. I walked forward with a smile and helped him up. "Zhao Mu, I've been thinking, this car has enough space, and we can all squeeze in. Why don't we take them along? After all, we're all colleagues. After all, I died so tragically in my past life. How could I let Gu Xingzhou off so easily?" Zhao Mu looked at me in surprise, and I winked at him. Suddenly, the tips of his ears turned red. He turned his head, cleared his throat, and said, "All right then. Since Qingqing agrees, you can go together. However, you two should discuss who will sit in the trunk." Hearing this, Lin Wei immediately ran to the car and grabbed the door handle. "I'm not sitting in the back." No matter how hard Gu Xingzhou tried to pull her, Lin Wei remained seated and unmoved. In the end, Zhao Mu pressed the gun against the back of Gu Xingzhou's head, and only then did he reluctantly climb into the trunk. We officially began our journey home. All the way, Gu Xingzhou stared at Lin Wei with resentment, looking as if he wanted to skin her alive, but Lin Wei was only gazing infatuatedly at Zhao Mu, completely ignoring him. Fortunately, Zhao Mu was very familiar with the route, leading us around the combat zones and avoiding congested areas. Finally, in the early hours of the third day, we successfully reached the border of Azerbaijan. After resting for a night, we lined up with our passports, ready to cross the border. The long queue stretched as far as the eye could see. The scorching sun made people dizzy. "Miss Lin, hello, Mr. Zhao is waiting for you ahead. Please come with us." I was about to collapse from the heat when two staff members with guns politely addressed me. "Can I bring my friend along?" The staff member nodded. I called Hu Yuan and the others to join me. As I passed by Gu Xingzhou, he saw the staff escorting us with guns and immediately started mocking. "Ah, could it be that you're undocumented and can't cross the border? Don't worry, if you can't get through, I won't help you contact the embassy after I return to the country. You deserve to die here." Lin Wei, standing behind him, chimed in. "I thought that man was something special, but it turns out he's nothing much either. Go die somewhere far away, don't drag us down." Hu Yuan rolled up his sleeves, ready to punch Gu Xingzhou, but I quickly pulled him back. At this critical moment, it's best not to start a conflict. We sat in the office, enjoying the air conditioning and sipping coffee. Before long, the staff handed us our passports. "Miss Lin, your procedures are all taken care of. Wishing you a smooth journey home." The staff politely escorted us to the border, where we happened to witness Gu Xingzhou being forcibly driven away by the staff. He had previously looked quite embarrassed, but upon seeing us, his expression turned to anger. "Lin Cheng, there's a VIP channel. Why didn't you bring us along? Although I promised to marry you, your lack of understanding makes me reconsider whether I should keep that promise." I spread my hands, feigning innocence, and said, "Sorry, my fiancé arranged this, you'll have to take it up with him." Zhao Mu stood behind me, watching Gu Xingzhou with a half-smile. Gu Xingzhou was left speechless and slunk away. We arrived at AC Airport. Zhao Mu urged everyone to board the plane quickly. Gu Xingzhou and Lin Wei wanted to get on but were stopped again. Gu Xingzhou said discontentedly, "Lin Cheng, why won't you let me board?" I looked down at him from above. Everyone booked their own tickets, 100,000 yuan each. If you want to board, buy a ticket first. Gu Xingzhou's mouth twitched, but considering the current situation, a 100,000 yuan plane ticket really isn't that outrageous, he scoffed. "Just 100,000 yuan, this card has 200,000 in it, enough for my ticket." Zhao Mu snapped his fingers, and a staff member stepped forward to swipe the card. However, the POS machine kept showing insufficient balance. Gu Xingzhou leaned in for a closer look and saw that the POS machine displayed not 100,000 RMB, but 100,000 USD. He gasped sharply, pointing at us and scolding, "Why don't you just rob someone? A plane ticket for $100,000. Zhao Mu clicked his tongue in admiration. "So it turns out you're a poor guy. This is a private jet I chartered, costing $800,000 divided per person. Isn't that 100,000 each? You can choose not to ride if you don't have the money." The other colleagues burst into laughter at the two of them. Tickets are hard to come by right now, and they can't buy their own tickets home, so they have no choice but to find a way to board our plane. I know Gu Xingzhou truly has no money. Although he is a company executive, his father is a gambler and his mother has cancer. Whenever he gets paid, his parents take it all. During our relationship, I covered all his expenses, even buying his underwear and socks for him. Gu Xingzhou lowered his proud head and whispered, "Lin Cheng, could you lend me some money?" I sneered coldly. "Sure." Gu Xingzhou looked at me with stars in his eyes. I curled my lips. "But you should return the money you borrowed from me before." Gu Xingzhou stared at me, his eyes filled with disbelief. "Lin Cheng, you're so materialistic. You actually want me to pay back the money I spent during our relationship?" His eyes were bloodshot, and he gritted his teeth, saying, "Lin Cheng, don't bully the young and poor. When I become the richest man one day, you'll regret it." At this moment, Gu Xingzhou was like a trapped beast, clenching his fists tightly and growling in a low voice. Just then, Lin Wei approached Gu Xingzhou, holding up her phone. "Hey, look, Lin Cheng's grandfather, Lin Dolly, is the richest man." A flicker of malice flashed in Lin Wei's eyes. "Her family is so wealthy, yet they make us buy our own tickets, and at such high prices. They just want to laugh at us, don't they?" Upon hearing this, Gu Xingzhou clenched his fist even tighter. After a moment, he relaxed his grip and said confidently, "The richest family won't be for much longer." He whispered a few words into Lin Wei's ear, and her expression shifted from disbelief to shock, then finally to a beaming smile. "All right, I believe you. When the time comes, I want that bitch Lin Cheng to regret it." The two of them huddled together, fiddling with their phones. A moment later, Gu Xingzhou said to Zhao Mu with an air of arrogance, "Swipe the card, we have enough money." After speaking, he glared at me with a face full of resentment. "Lin Cheng, you're truly vicious. I hate Wei Wei for taking away my affection. So I want to keep Wei Wei abroad, hoping to kill her this way. Even if you go to great lengths, in my heart, you still can't compare to Wei Wei. Let's break up." Zhao Mu looked at me with concern. I smiled at him and said to Gu Xingzhou indifferently, "If you say so, then so be it." As for Gu Xingzhou, I had long since given up on him. Whenever I think about how I was so eager to marry him in my past life, I can't help but want to dig out my love-struck brain and feed it to the zombies. My colleagues also gained a new understanding of Gu Xingzhou. They hurled insults at the two, calling them ungrateful wretches with a persecution complex, saying they should have been left abroad to be blown up by bombs. Gu Xingzhou, however, was unfazed and even somewhat smug, saying, "Let them curse. Cowards only know how to curse when they're angry. Once I become the richest man, you won't have the chance to curse anymore." Hearing Gu Xingzhou's words, everyone was stunned. Gu Xingzhou is now penniless, and I don't know where he gets the confidence to say such things. I shook my head and stopped paying attention to Gu Xingzhou. Before the plane landed, Gu Xingzhou leaned close to my ear and whispered, "In this life, I will definitely protect Wei Wei and won't let you hurt her in the slightest, and as for the position of the richest person, I'm determined to take it." I looked up at him in astonishment. "Gu Xingzhou, has he also been reborn?" After calming down, I replied coldly, "I'm not a wishing tree. Making a wish to me is useless. What does it matter if Gu Xingzhou has been reborn? Without me, he is nothing now. In my previous life, Gu Xingzhou did indeed become the wealthiest man, but the reason he achieved that status was entirely due to my family's connections. In this life, without my family's connections and without my support, I want to see how he becomes the wealthiest man." The first thing I did after returning to the country was to fire Gu Xingzhou and Lin Wei. When the two of them were kicked out, they cursed and grumbled at me, especially the way Gu Xingzhou looked at me. It was like the frenzied gaze he had when he tortured and killed me in my past life. I couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat on my back. Perhaps sensing my unease, Zhao Mu squeezed my hand. I snapped back to reality and gave him a reassuring smile. I didn't take Gu Xingzhou and the others to heart, focusing instead on taking over the company's business while preparing for my wedding with Zhao Mu. One day, I led the team to attend a bidding event, only to run into Gu Xingzhou and Lin Wei on the spot, who Yuan whispered in my ear, full of confusion, "I don't know what kind of luck Gu Xingzhou has stumbled upon. He's bid on several projects recently and seems to be gaining some momentum." I didn't say anything. It wasn't luck at all, he was simply acting on memories from his past life, but he didn't know that I had already dug a pit for him, just waiting for him to jump in. "Lin Cheng, are you here to witness me becoming the richest man?" Seeing me, Gu Xingzhou seemed very excited, his eyes full of pride mixed with a hint of unwillingness. "As long as I secure this project, it's only a matter of time before I become the richest man. When that time comes, if you beg me, maybe I'll spare your Lin family." Gu Xingzhou looked at me with satisfaction. It seems he has already secured this project, but the next second, he was proven completely wrong, because the winning bidder displayed on the big screen was me. Colleagues around stood up to congratulate me. "Congratulations, President Lin, on successfully securing the urban renewal project. President Lin is truly young and accomplished. Congratulations, congratulations." Gu Xingzhou stared at the screen and murmured, "Impossible, impossible, there must be something shady going on. I'm going to report you for underhanded dealings." Gu Xingzhou's loud commotion alerted the supervisors. According to the regulations, the supervisors demonstrated the entire bidding process to everyone. The result was that the entire process was reasonable and compliant. Gu Xingzhou muttered in a daze. "Impossible, it can't be like this." At that moment, Lin Wei stumbled in, grabbing Gu Xingzhou with trembling hands and voice. "Gu Xingzhou, our company has been shut down." Watching the two in a panic, I felt an indescribable sense of satisfaction. Gu Xingzhou wanted to use his memories from a past life to make a fortune, so I played along, investing a large sum of money in his company, and then withdrew the investment once he successfully secured the project, to keep his operations running. Gu Xingzhou had to take out loans everywhere. With just a little more effort on my part, Gu Xingzhou's company kept hitting one crisis after another. In just 1 month, his company could no longer function and was directly shut down. Now, with his company shut down, Gu Xingzhou is also saddled with a huge debt. If nothing unexpected happens, he will spend the rest of his life earning money to pay off his debts. My wedding day with Xiao Mu is approaching. On this day, I went to try on my wedding dress, but Xiao Mu had something come up at the last minute and couldn't accompany me. Just as I reached the entrance, I was stopped by Gu Xingzhou. He wore a gentle smile on his face. "Ching, I'm sorry, I've done many wrong things, and now I realize that you are the one I love most. Can you give me another chance?" Seeing his malicious expression, a sense of foreboding suddenly rose in my heart. But before I could refuse, Gu Xingzhou knocked me unconscious. I woke up again in a dilapidated house. From what I remember, this seems to be Gu Xingzhou's old home. "Lin Cheng, you're awake. This is my home. I brought you back to fulfill my promise and marry you. I think the reason I didn't succeed this time is because I didn't marry you, so now that I've married you, if I go start a business, I will definitely become the richest person." Gu Xingzhou looked at me with a face full of madness. I couldn't help but feel panicked inside. "Gu Xingzhou, we've already broken up. I won't marry you. Let me go, and I'll act as if nothing happened." Gu Xingzhou smiled and said, "Let you go? Sure, give me 500 million. I frowned and looked at him. "Otherwise, you can work for me. I'll let you go when you've earned 500 million. Gu Xingzhou pushed the door open, and 2 men walked in from outside, leering at me. A bone-chilling coldness washed over my heart. I know that Gu Xingzhou's business venture failed, leaving him with massive debts. To repay the money, he set his sights on me. Additionally, during the evacuation, I deliberately humiliated him twice, so he has always held a grudge against me. With just a glance from Gu Xingzhou, 2 men stepped forward, intending to strip me of my clothes. At the critical moment, with a loud bang, the door was kicked open. Xiao Mu rushed in with his men. Gu Xingzhou hadn't even reacted before he was pinned to the ground. Ching, are you okay?" Xiao Mu asked me with concern. I shook my head. From the moment Gu Xingzhou's company went bankrupt, I knew he would resort to extreme measures, so, I've always had bodyguards with me, to avoid disrupting my life. I just had them follow from a distance. This time, as soon as Gu Xingzhou snatched me away, the bodyguards caught up. "Very well," daring to lay a hand on Ching. "It seems you have a death wish." Xiao Mu angrily wanted to hit Gu Xingzhou. I stopped him. "Let the police handle it. There's no need to dirty your own hands." The police took Gu Xingzhou away and also found Lin Wei tied up at his home. After being rescued, Lin Wei had already gone mad. Gu Xingzhou blamed all the faults on Lin Wei. He blamed Lin Wei for being too difficult. causing him to break up with me and preventing him from becoming the richest man. He kept Lin Wei confined at home, forcing her to sell her body to earn money to repay his debts. Lin Wei was sent to the hospital for treatment, but because her injuries were too severe, she died in despair after just a few days in the hospital. Hu Yuan helped handle Lin Wei's funeral arrangements. He said Gu Xingzhou was truly inhuman, having tormented Lin Wei until she was barely recognizable as a person. Whenever she saw someone, all she knew was to spread her legs. Moreover, Lin Wei had miscarried 5 or 6 children, each time brutally forced out through external violence. That was how Lin Wei's body was ruined. Gu Xingzhou was sentenced to 12 years in prison for kidnapping, illegal detention, and organizing prostitution. With everything settled, I married Zhao Mu. After marriage, we lived a happy life together. During my 3rd trimester of pregnancy, Gu Xingzhou sent me a letter through someone. In his letter, he confessed, saying he was wrong, that he had been bewitched by Lin Wei before, and that he regretted it. He begged for my forgiveness and help, saying he couldn't hold on much longer. It was only then that I learned that, to vent my anger, Zhao Mu had arranged for someone to take good care of Gu Xingzhou inside. Gu Xingzhou was living a life worse than death inside. I did not intervene. I am not a saint, to plead for someone who once tortured and killed me. Not long after, I gave birth to a son. Zhao Mu held the child and cried uncontrollably in front of me. Wawa, my dear, we won't have any more children. Seeing you in such pain while I can do nothing, I'm so scared. A year later, news came from the prison. Gu Xingzhou couldn't see a way out and swallowed a toothbrush to commit suicide, but he couldn't be saved. It is said that he died in great pain, murmuring, "I'm sorry, Ching Ching." Before his death, I smiled without saying a word. A passerby on the journey of life had little to do with me. I continued to hold my son's hand and slowly walked toward Zhao Mu. After hearing the 2 stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.